Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Connor Overbay. Got the wifey sitting over there, Shannon Overbay.
Hello.
If this is your first time checking out the Who Are You podcast, make sure you guys give us a follow, a like, a subscribe on all the social media. It's going to be at Who Are You Pod from everything from TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots, man. We're on episode 184. You guys should know where to find us now. But also make sure you guys are checking out the YouTube channel. It's going to be Who Are You podcast. You'll be able to find this content on there, as well as the D-Gym Bets, our sports betting podcast on there as well. And today we're sitting down with a very, very special guest. Super excited for this interview. Today we're sitting down with Chris Rodriguez.
Yes, sir.
And I guess my first question for you today is, who are you?
Well, Connor, I want to read you something that I was up at 6 a.m. writing, because I had that same question in my mind today, right? I know who I'm becoming, and I know who I was, but I really wrote down something very meaningful from the heart that I want to express to you of who I am.
I like it.
So I have it here in my notes, and I'm going to read it to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm just a man who stopped running from himself. I'm the kid who came from chaos and doubt, but refused to let that be the end of the story. The one who learned to build instead of destroy, to lead instead of follow. I turned my pain into hunger, my pressure into purpose, and every ounce of fear into fuel. I'm a creator, a builder, a speaker, and a mentor in the making. Simply just a father rewriting his bloodline, I see myself as the bridge between who I was and who my son gets to become. Somebody who took a gift from the struggle and turned it into art that can someday help families, build communities, and awaken purpose in others. You see, when I founded Jaguar Tattoos, I didn't just open up a shop. I built a sanctuary, a safe haven, a place where people can have growth and express themselves and second chances, because I ain't never really had none. So I want my life to be a living proof that you can turn imaginations into reality. And I always felt like my presence has been evidence of God working with very limited resources. So the mission has always been bigger than just tattoos. It's generational. It's healing, it's impact, it's purpose. So who am I? Chris Rodriguez from New Jersey. I'm not just an artist. I'm not just a businessman. And I'm not just a dude making motivational reels. I'm the man that's becoming everything I prayed for. But you know what's the most beautifulest thing about it? Is that it's still all unfolding. What the people are seeing is the journey, because my testimony's still being written. My gifts are still revealing itself. And everyone watching is just a witness in the rise. Much love to my son, my family, my friends, and to y'all.
Hell yeah. I like that. Snap, snap, snap. I like that, man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, when I was up this morning, I was like, see, I've always believed words are like flashlights, so they can lead you in the right or wrong direction, right? So I wanted to come here making sure that my words were going to point us in the right direction and be able to talk about the right things, because in my life and what I do on a day-to-day basis, I always try to help those around me and my team, my family, everybody, just try to find their inner purpose, because it's so hard. Some people never even find it, right? But I think just being on the journey of trying to identify yourself is a beautiful feeling itself. You know, doing the things that you love, waking up and attacking what you wrote down the next morning, like I'm going to do that podcast with Chris Rodriguez, and just achieving those steps that you need to do to get there. So it's like the same thing with me. Like I wrote down a couple of days ago, before I went to go talk to those students, I wrote down on my journal, I wrote, I'm going to build a workshop. And I'm going to speak to these students. I'm going to help them identify their gifts. I'm going to go in there and help them try to discover and draw out what their purpose is, or what makes them feel happiest at heart. And everything I wrote down, I was able to go and do. And it was a beautiful experience. So every time I'm stepping into a new opportunity, a new project, I always write down what I'm feeling in the moment and what kind of intentions I want to go into it with, you know?
I totally understand, man. I think that was a beautiful writing. I appreciate you sharing that on the show, man. And like, we were having a whole podcast before we even recorded, man. And it, like I said, I've seen you on a couple different things. Obviously, I've seen your social media side. You guys do a beautiful job with your social media.
I appreciate it.
The work that you guys put out there. I've seen a lot of tattoos out there that I'm like, damn, like those things are sick.
Thanks.
And like I've seen a couple of buddies of mine or people that we've interviewed in the past. Shout out Time and Place over there.
Time and Place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. and I was super excited to have you on the pod, man. Like, I watched your interview with Jim from Graybeard Podcast,
Sure.
and I love the motivational speaker side of things. Like, there's a lot of the guys out there who are putting out negative stuff, and what we're really big about this show is putting out the positive side.
Yeah, got to, man.
And a lot of people have gone through a lot of things, and we're big on the, you said the second chance, right?
For sure.
We're big on that. We're not someone who's just going to judge someone. That's why we have people come on here to tell their story.
For sure.
So we can learn more about maybe they were in a situation, maybe this is how they found out, or maybe they were going down that wrong road. And as we were talking about before the podcast, you hit a wall and you had a choice. You either go left and want to make sure you stay around here, stay around for your children, stay around for whoever's in your life, or keep going down that road and not being here anymore. And sure. I think it's cool that you've changed that, man. And to really kind of get started with the podcast, obviously we were talking about, Jaguar Tattoo, man, the owner, the founder.
The founder, yes.
That's a big thing, man. Being a business owner, I love business owners. That's who most of the people we talk to are, because I find it interesting for people who say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend my time. I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to take all the risk. And that's the thing a lot of people don't think about when you work for someone. Mm-hmm. They're taking on the risk. You can just drop up, clean your hands and leave.
So if you don't mind me, like how I see it, especially when it comes to that entrepreneur side, is in life we got risks all around us regardless. Mm-hmm. So now, when I was involved in gangs, when I was involved with drugs, when I was involved with biker clubs, I was taking risks on a day-to-day basis. I was making situations that could get me locked up for a lifetime. I was making situations that could take me far away from my kid. So if I'm taking risks there, why not take the risk and a payout? And something that can actually help you grow, something that can actually help you be able to provide and, help the people around you grow as well, too, So I'd rather take the risk to achieve the things that I want to do in my heart that I feel is right, what I feel like I wake up in the morning for, than to take the risk not doing it and not get the outcomes that I want.
I totally understand, man. And obviously, what made that change? We don't have to talk about the situation if it's like that, but what really made you sit there and stop and be like, I need to change my life?
It's a few of them.
Okay.
It was a couple of different changes that really just made me say, like, you know what, I'm going to give the most recent one. Okay. The most recent one was when I was in my motorcycle club, and we was always out bullshitting, doing stupid shit, getting into troubles, fights, you name it. But one of the things that really stuck to me, and I feel like I got to give you a little bit of background beforehand, but when I was opening up my shop, and I was still in my biker club, I was still doing the same things, very fresh. Like I'm talking about the very beginning of the shop, first couple months. I was there, and as I gained more artists on my team, and majority of them were female artists, right? I'm in a position where now I'm like, I got to protect them. That same feeling like I had being that sergeant at arms in my club, where I feel like I had to protect my club, I felt like that towards them, and I said, this tattooing shit, this shit's way bigger than me. I started seeing the eyes of my artist and everything that I was doing. I'm like, when I was out riding bullshit, and I was like thinking of DJ in my head. I was thinking of Nat. I was thinking of like the artists that I had in my shop, and I'm like, I can't let them down. I can't let my son down. I can't let myself down. So just being in certain situations with the bike club that I was in has allowed me to make that shift to say, I'm all in on my business. I went up to them. They were about to actually promote me to president. And I said, you know what? I'm dropping this now because I just got a vision, and I'm going to hold that with me forever. Those same eyes that I saw in my artist, I once seen them in my older brother when I was younger too. See, my older brother was more of an in-house kind of dude, and I was always outside. But he had a look one day of fear when I went outside, and I'm watching him get bullied. I'm getting beat up by some bigger kids. He had like chains and shit. It was fucking him up, right? But I remember going outside, and I chased that boy down like Chucky across the whole town. You know what I'm saying? But those eyes of seeing my brother like needing help in that moment has carried with me throughout my whole life. So anytime I had a girlfriend, anytime I had a good friend, I always see the deepness in their eyes. And I carry that with me because I don't want to let it down. I don't want to see that fear in their face. I don't want to see the hurt or that feeling in their face where they can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing their eyes in the aspect of I need to provide and do more for them and build a team and a brand, not just, have people come work there and pay booth rent, because where the fuck does that get you? I don't get you nowhere except in the same exact spot, right? My thing was, when I saw their faces, I said, I'm quitting. I'm leaving everything behind me. And my main goal is to just continue to provide strategies so my artists could continue to identify themselves and continue to grow and build that awareness within themselves so that they're not wondering where the next client is going to come. Because you know what? Even if tattooing is not their true gift or it's not their true identity, I'd much rather feel happier knowing that I have helped them find their purpose to what they truly want for themselves. If you quit your job, you never really wanted it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I push them to the limits because I want to see if this is truly what they want. I do evaluations with my artists one-on-one to see where their head is at. Where are you with your family? Where are you in the head, you know? And these are things that I just find so important, man. I'm so grateful I left behind what I did because me making that change in my life to deciding this business thing could work out, it led me down the road that helped me see bigger opportunities than just tattooing. It led me to the Performance Academy to be able to speak with children, to get my artists to go and communicate and hang out with children too, you know? And when we in there, like, we just seeing younger versions of ourselves.
Yes, sir.
You get what I mean? So, like, we want to sit there and be able to help them out.
That's our future, man, right?
That's our future.
And the main thing you're talking about there that like really hits home for me is like that sense of identity, right?
Right.
That's something that we're all trying to do in our lives.
For sure.
We're all trying to figure out, like, you know, some people think, oh, I'm the biggest, baddest man out there, and then it takes someone to come up and who's bigger and badder to really like take a step back and like, oh shit, who am I?
Who am I?
Because everybody's looking for identity. I've dealt with problems with that, right? You know, some people think their job is their identity.
Right.
Whatever sport they maybe grew up playing, maybe they were a basketball player, or maybe they were this, and they just didn't make it to that next step.
Sure.
And now they're sitting there trying to figure it out. Like for me, for example, a big thing that was a identity kind of below for me, right? I was going to college. I was messing around, not going to school like I needed to. And I was originally going to school to be a nurse.
Okay.
Ever since my sophomore year of high school, I'm like, that's what I'm going to be.
Right.
And then I get to school and I can't pass classes. And I'm not doing the right things. I'm not studying when I need to be, or I'm out, you know, whether it's partying, doing stupid shit outside of school that, you know, gets you away from that.
Right.
And I didn't graduate. I didn't go and get the nursing degree that I thought I was always going to be and everything. And it really took me a step back to sit there and be like, what do I want to do with my life, right?
For sure.
And I think that's the hardest thing. And I know Shannon was the same way when we were going to school or just living life, right? A very early conversation I had with her whenever she first moved in with me and we were, you know, getting serious about a relationship, right? I was like, this is what I want my life to be.
Sure.
I want to have a house. I want to have children. If that's not in your plan, that's fine.
Right.
But this is my plan. Right. This is what I want in my life. You know, I'm looking for someone to be married to. I'm looking to someone to build something with, right? A
reflection of you.
Exactly.
Right.
And, you know, just like she does with me and I do with her, we respect each other. We make sure that if there's something wrong between me and her, we're respectful about it. We go off to the side. We have never ever gotten into a fight in front of people.
That's amazing.
Because that is not, that's
I mean, who's to see that?
Exactly. Know? But the identity thing is huge because there's a lot of people, I see it to this day, even with the job I work at, people don't know what they want to do. They're just floating through life thinking that something's going to happen. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have to do something yourself to make it happen. And
it truly starts with saying, you know, where do I start? You know, how can I get to where I need to get to? You know, the asking yourself the question, like, what's my why? How can I get there? And when will I? Those three questions, man, if you keep repeating that to yourself and you keep filling them in, it could lead you right to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I realized that, you know, for a very long time, it was very hard for me to identify myself too. But what I did notice, and after a while, is that I've noticed that naturally I've always been the healer in my friend group. I've always been the guy to kind of bring everybody together, that neutral ground. Even with the biker clubs, right? The sergeant at arms is supposed to neutralize everything. I've always been the neutral ground, you know, and I've always had the power to be able to get people together, even when people didn't want to see each other, you know. So I always felt like, you know, in some type of way or form, no matter what job I was doing, I always played like a leadership role. And that has allowed me to, like, after a while, I start seeing the repetitiveness. And I'm like, and I'm meant to for something bigger and deeper. So it takes, you know, recognizing the things that you're good at, what you're super passionate about, and what you can do effortlessly. And then be able to study it. Yeah. To the most high. You can't stop studying it because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like I got it all figured out. I don't. I'm on a constant learning game. I'm on a constant education of, you know, my personal growth, my career, just scaling my business, all of that, you know. So for me, like, I know what I got to do. I'm going to continue to learn about it. And for those that are just, you know, sitting around thinking like, what's next for me, or I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my gift is. Take a few minutes to write down what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Take a few minutes to write down what makes you feel alive,
Yeah.
what makes you feel happy, you know? And soon enough, you'll start to see where things start intersecting with each other. And it usually lays right there, man.
I agree with you, man. And Shannon, what do you feel anything about like the identity side? Because obviously we're two guys sitting here talking, right? And I've talked about this in the past where like I feel like us as men have, you know, we try to be the provider, right?
Sure,
we're trying to be that guy that is the leader, whether it's the leader of the family, leader of the business, leader of, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
How would you say identity from a female's point of view really comes into play?
Well, obviously being a female growing up, it's completely different from being a male. I think we're, you know, the woman's expected to keep the house clean, raise the children, you know, cook.
Right.
I don't do any of, well, we don't have kids yet.
We don't have
but,
kids,
like,
yeah.
Right.
I don't cook. You mainly cook in our house. You know, I do the laundry, but we split chores and stuff. So it's, I feel like I don't really fit the norm for like a female, I guess, when you think of like an identity for a female. But also, I was thinking, because obviously I went to school for criminal justice.
Right.
So originally, my whole goal, I've always loved investigating things growing up.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to be a detective. I want to solve crimes. I want to do this. And, you know, going to college for it and getting my degree, I was doing internships of like private investigative work and stuff. And I was realizing traits I don't have that you kind of need for things like that. And then I was also talking to people in the field of police work. At the time I was graduating, it was not a great...
It was during COVID time.
Yeah,
when
it
all the
was not
riots
a
were
great
happening.
time for police officers. And I asked one, I was like, if you were in my situation, what would you do? And like, would you join the police? And he said, absolutely not.
Right.
So at that point, I kind of had to reflect and be like, okay, well, how do I want to switch gears from here?
Right.
And I was thinking, you know, legal field fits, you know, the same thing I got my degree in, kind of.
Right. I mean, still kind of the same route.
Yeah, I'm still helping people.
Right.
It's just different.
Right,
I'm
right.
still investigating things.
And and you brought the biker clubs and everything.
Right.
A couple of her clients were biker clubs here, like
Mm-hmm.
the Mongols and a couple other ones around here.
Yeah, my last law firm was huge with biker relationships.
Well, you guys, am I allowed to say where she work at?
Oh, her?
Yeah, you said Morgan.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But so isn't their home base in Tampa or somewhere like Daytona area?
I think Jacksonville is one of their home bases,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
I'd have to double check. I've only been there a couple months,
yeah,
so I
but
don't know too much background yet.
She worked for another law office she doesn't work there anymore. Law office is Randy
Right.
Reep. And like I said, I actually went to, they did a get together because something with whatever like case got taken care of, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to the bar that was their hangout, like that was their spot and everything. And I'm sitting in here, and I'm like,
Clubhouse.
the clubhouse, and I'm sitting in here, and I'm looking, I'm like, this is interesting because I've never been involved in that side of the world,
sure,
right?
for sure.
And people were super nice. I will give them that. No issues. Everybody was cool.
Yeah, they respect civilians.
Very, very much so. Like I said, they were nothing but nice about giving food, drinks, all that stuff. I had a great time, but it was interesting just to be a fly on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Because with me, anytime I'm in a new situation, I'll go shake hands, say what's up to people, but I'm very much a watcher. I kind of get a read of the room, seeing what's going on,
I'm the same way.
And obviously, like I said, not saying anything was going to happen or anything was going to, but you just never know, right?
I mean, well, that's the thing. Like especially with 1%er clubs like that, you never know
what pops off. You know, someone pulls up, starts a problem.
You don't know
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's it's very unpredictable. But I want to get back to what you were
Go
saying.
right ahead.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
There are many women out in this world who are still going through those same things too. You know what I'm saying? Who are still trying to figure themselves out as well. And when you have a lot of, thoughts in your head or like distractions about, kind of like where you're going and heading towards, it gets fucking hard to keep your house clean. It's hard to come home and do the dishes. It's very understandable, But the point is that like when you come home, you got someone that you love that you can come home to. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the fact when you're down, he's going to pick you up.
Yep.
When you're down, she gonna pick you up.
Very true.
And that's so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So even if you feel like, damn, I haven't found that identity, that purpose yet, it's coming soon. You know what I'm saying? You might just be helping him achieve his a little bit faster before he can allow you to help you yours. Vice versa. You know what I mean? It could be either way. So
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot. I think we just talked about it on the last podcast. It was like, it's not always 100-100 or 50-50. You know, sometimes he's going to be 70 and I'll be 20 or, you know, vice versa. So we're always about, you know, being there for each other first and foremost.
For sure.
And then taking care of the house.
Our biggest thing is communication.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we are legally binded together. We're married, right? And the main person who should know what's going on with me, everything going on with me, is her.
Your wife.
Because at the end of the day, we can't keep things from each other, which we're really luckily like very good at. Me and Shannon from a very early time in our relationship have been very big about talking about things.
Right.
Because even starting this, right? I told Shannon one day, I was like, hey, I want to start a podcast. I want to start inviting people to our home to come sit down and have a conversation and, you know, just do something different. And because my why is I was born and raised here in Jacksonville and I wanted to get to know my community better.
For sure.
And at first, like whenever I was younger, I didn't like Jacksonville. You know, it's your hometown. You grow up here. You think you see the same faces.
Like, I need to get away from here.
Yeah, man. And then it got to a point where I was like, what am I interested? I'm interested in people. I've always been very, very good with people. Lucky enough, Shan knows there's not too many people that I don't make friends with.
Right.
And whether it's in business relationships, whether it's just doing the podcast and stuff, but getting out there and telling people a story of how they made it from A to B, right? Obviously, it sounds like you've lived a couple lives is what it sounds like, man. You've lived your life, you know, doing your thing before. Now you're a business owner. You have a son. You're doing a lot of other things now that are in more of a positive light. But I think what makes that person who they are is the stuff they've gone through.
For sure.
Because you grew up differently than I did. Shannon grew up differently than I did. And it kind of makes it interesting for me to sit there and listen and be like, so that's how you made it. Okay. You were at that crossroads and you chose the right path to get to a better place.
You get to a point where you start going through shit, and then you realize the next time you go through it, it didn't hurt as bad, or you learn to avoid it or go around it, right? So I was able to see that all my pain, like, that was just preparation for me to go speak to some students. That was preparation for me to go and inspire my team, you know? And it makes my eye almost water a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's very deep to me that, like, you know, I had to go through such things, and for the longest time, I was that kid, like, why is this shit happening?
Yeah.
Why me?
And let's talk a little bit more about your story, right? So obviously we were talking before the podcast started. You're from Jersey.
From Jersey, yeah.
And then you said you moved here 2018, 2019-ish?
Yep.
Okay. And so what made you decide to make that move? Because I'm always interested in people moving to Jacksonville of all places, because it's not like Tampa, it's not Miami, it's not California. What made you choose this spot?
So, you know, I thank my mother, really, because my mom was out here taking care of someone with cancer, and he was getting ready to, you know, move on to the next life. And when it was in the deepest, darkest times, like, I was homeless, I was sleeping on the bridges, and I remember telling my mom, like, hey, like, I don't have no other option. Like, I need somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying? And for the longest time, like, I've been in and out of the streets. My mom kind of got over it around like 16, 17. She was like, that's the life you want to live? Go live it. And see where you come out of. You know, see what you're going to make out of it. You're going to be dead. Or even when I got locked up, my mom wasn't there calling me and shit. So you're going to deal with it. You gotta deal with it. You know, I ain't get bonded, none of that, you know? So, you know, for me, like, when I left Jersey, I really was trying to leave with a whole new... I left with the mindset, like, I'm finna change my life. I'm finna go to another state. I'm starting fresh. Nobody knows me. I can't get into problems. And I ran off... When I was back home, I ran off on the plug. I left with 2 ounces of coke. I left with, like, weed and, you know, a couple pills. And I was like, when I get to Florida, I'm gonna figure out who I sell it to and who how I can make some money when I'm out there. So I was leaving my environment, but sticking with the same mentality, getting me to the absolute same results. So I ended up getting kicked out of my mom's. I ended up being homeless out here, not knowing a fuck thing about anything. I raised my way into some girl's house. We ended up being together for a little while. She was taking care of me. She was actually the one who got me the tattoo machine.
Oh, wow.
And helped me, you know, see a different kind of... I don't even think it was her intention to make me a tattoo artist. I think she was just like, hey, you're good at drawing. Take this tattoo machine. You're going to do something with it, right? And so I did. And I still fucked that up. I was just like in a constant, I was never trying to learn more about myself. I wasn't trying to learn more about where my trauma was coming from, where my trust issues were coming from. I never took the time to really study that. So when I came out to Jacksonville, I was still kind of doing the same thing. But when I did get that tattoo machine, it led me to a different route. I was still kind of tattooing with the same behavioral aspect of I'm just trying to get money. I'm trying to get money. But once I became aware of what money was and how it works, it just became a whole different ballgame. I'm like, okay, I'm going to save my money. I'm going to tattoo, and I'm going to try to see where it takes me. So coming here was just an escape from Jersey. And I'm not proud that I had to run away and that I couldn't stay and fight all the feelings that I had to, fight up against. But God had a different life for me, bro. And I had to come here, and it was way deeper than just me being able to tattoo. Me learning a new skill. Yeah. I had to come here. I had to experience that. I had to almost die twice out here. I had to almost die back in Jersey. And when I came out here and I'm, learning more about myself, I'm like, shit, I needed all that. I needed to go through all that because these people here need the wisdom that I got now that I've learned to rebuild myself,
And does religion play out a big role in your life, or is this more something that you've always been somewhat religious and kind of?
So I'm not gonna lie, I've recently just started diving a little bit more into religion. Okay. I actually just picked up a book called The Message, and it's in translation of the Bible and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And I'm using it because I want to be able to speak to all kinds of people. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just speak to myself. And I also have always believed in God. I have always believed in Jesus. I just never knew the meaning behind it. I never knew the stories. I've always just heard what I've heard. I've seen those Christian people pounce on people to try to force religion. I just knew I didn't want to be that, right? I said, you know what? So in my recent days, I'm like, you know what? I'm not just going to practice religion. I'm going to take what I learned from it and I'm going to live it.
Okay.
Right? Because sometimes some people need to see the life of what it is to follow that religion rather than just hearing somebody pounce it on you.
Yeah.
When I walk, I want you to see what it is to be a faithful man, to be a loyal man, to be an honest man, not robbing, not cheating, not stealing. Just staying very faithful to those commandments and just making sure I'm being a good human, bro. And I think that's just me walking with faith. I don't got to go and press it on anybody. I don't got to be like, look, you should believe in God because you know what? My words, regardless, with the things that I've learned, my wisdom is going to flow out in some way that God put in me for you to listen, regardless if it's me mentioning him or not.
Yeah.
It's going to flow naturally because I wake up in the morning super earlier than my alarm sometimes because I have a purpose that was given to me, I feel, by God, And so I don't take for granted the minutes I wake up. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I got more time to catch up on the shit that I need than what I would have if I would have woke up at 9.
I understand.
Today I woke up at 5.
Yeah.
It gave me the ability to write this out and mention it today on your podcast from 5 to 6 a.m., maybe 6:30 I was writing. And so even probably an hour ago, I was still rewriting it.
Yeah.
Rewriting it, but it's because I was meant to speak on it today. Somebody out there, regardless if it's my followers, your followers, I hope and I think and I know they're going to take in what I said and they're going to have some type of value to it, for sure.
No, I like that, man. And the reason why I asked about the religious side, so I'm not personally religious.
Right.
So as you were saying, the whole pounce on you kind of thing, right? So my family, my mom's side of the family was very deep into church and it was kind of shoved down my throat a little bit.
For sure.
So when I was younger, I was that kid that was like, oh, whatever, I don't believe and all that kind of stuff. And as I've gotten older and lived more experiences, right, seen things that some parts aren't very explainable, right? Things have happened. People have lived through things that they probably shouldn't have. Right. And I've softened my tone a little bit more. Yeah. So and the main thing I like about religion is it's not really, it's more of a guidebook of how to be a good person.
For sure.
So like you were saying, be a faithful man, don't steal, don't cheat, give back to others when you can. Others, yep. So more of the way I look at it now is I hope there's something there after we're done, right? I hope there is, and I hope I live my life in a way that I would be worthy of something to make it through that next level there. But I also live my life in a way of even as someone is watching me. Right. I may not be fully believe it, but I still try to be that good person. Right. And I don't hate on anybody who does it because I've sat down with many people who have a similar story to yours. Right. And I'm like, I believe that. And if it gives you power and gives you motivation every day, good for you. Who am I to take that away from you? Sure. And, me and Shannon may have a little bit different perspective on that. She's gone through different things and seen different things where she's a little bit more of a believer than I say I would. And at the end of the day, I'm not disrespectful to her, and she's not disrespectful to me. And we talk about it, and Shan's been there for the many debates I've had with my mother, who is into it. But I think it is a beautiful thing, and there is a good thing about it because it also brings community together. Sure. So I think that's a beautiful way of doing it.
Yeah, and that was one of the first pages, too, that I read today when I opened up that new book called The Message. He speaks about, when God wrote this, or it was never meant to be forced, it was meant to just be as a guidance, and whether you decide to pick it up or not, that's on you, But what I've noticed is the most successful people that I've studied and listened to, like the people that I would see myself kind of becoming, like, because I think everybody in some type of aspect, we all have somebody we have to look forward to, have to look up to, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we can kind of guide our path. Like, what did this person do that I have to, what kind of steps do I have to take? What should I avoid? Everybody's story, and everybody should have somebody they look up to because their story can guide you, And what I've noticed is that a lot of the principles that they've mentioned has been related in the Bible. Like some of the quotes that they've said has been, biblical. And I've been in my mind like, damn, I've been finding myself, but I haven't even been finding the guy that's been putting the shit in my head.
Exactly. I understand.
So I'm on that route right now where I'm learning my faith, I'm learning religion, and I'm still growing with it. I'm still trying to figure out, what his purpose is with me.
Yeah.
And if there is a purpose with me, but I know for a fact there is. My journey, I know.
No, I agree with you, man. And Shan, was I off base whenever I was talking about the religious side for you kind of thing?
No, I was going to bring that up as well. It's like, I do think everyone has a purpose in exactly what you mentioned. I mean, I know Connor was mentioning that I've been through different things.
For sure.
So I do believe, because I had an experience when I was 3 years old where my dad was electrocuted.
Okay.
And him and I were cleaning the pool together, and he fell in with a leaf blower on, and I was there.
Right.
Something at the funeral, my mom said people would ask me why I didn't help him. I was 3 years old, mind you.
Yeah.
But people were asking me that, and I responded, Daddy told me to help, but God told me no. And we weren't a religious family at that time. We weren't going to church or anything. And my mom, she heard that, and she was like, something's got to change. Like, we need to start going to church.
Right.
Like, why else would my 3-year-old be saying that?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's powerful.
And she told me that story, and I agree with you. Like, who am I to say something against that, right? And I think it's a beautiful, and I think that's also brought Shan's strength. And like I said, between all of us, she's way tougher than I am. Going through those experiences and other situations in the past as she's grown up, man, she's a tough chick.
That's awesome. And I love to hear it. And, kind of stepping back too, just like how you said, God told you, don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, she got an image or some words in her head, right? And she followed it for a reason. Who knows? Maybe you could have been next. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things where it's like the same way she was able to identify that thought, that image, is the same. It comes to the same thing when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to, just living your life in the right terms, right? People come up with crazy ideas. They tell it to one small-minded person, the whole shit fucks up.
Yep.
It goes out their system. They don't even write it down. They forget about it. Next thing you know, a couple years down the line, somebody else did it. Those visions, those thoughts you getting in your head, follow that.
Yeah.
Immediately, because they're not there for no reason. You're not waking up in the morning and like, I'm going to lead my team today, and I'm going to make sure that everybody is on track. I'm going to build a schedule. I'm going to make sure that our curriculum is fire so everybody's skill set can grow, everybody's leadership can grow. Like, no, bro, these are all in my head because this is stuff my team needs.
Yeah.
This is stuff that I need, to continue to be a mentor. You know what I mean? So it's like those visions you get in your head, man, continue to see those and follow them because they're going to lead you a long way.
No, I agree with you. And when it comes to this, like just this show, right? This show right here was just an idea that I got because I was a fan of podcasts and I didn't see many in Jacksonville, right? So I kind of started it and I was like, let's just see where it goes, man. And it's just snowballed into so much, right? We've sat down with almost 200 guests, which is crazy to even say.
Bro.
And we've made connections with people. We've made friends with people. I've gotten jobs because of doing this. And it's kind of one of those things that I think it was just meant to be. And even if this doesn't turn into like the Joe Rogans or these multi-billion-dollar, I'm going to keep working to make it that way.
Your name already, bro?
Yep.
It will be.
and just keep pushing it, man, because it's just something I've even told her. I was just like, I feel like this was something that we were kind of made to do, right? Just tell people stories. And a common thing I say on here as well all the time is like, even if it doesn't grow to like the millionaire or the millions of people listening, I look at this as kind of like an audio diary where, say, my child, they'll be able to see what their dad was like at 22, 23, 24. Now I'm 26, and be able to say, if I'm not here one day, at least they know who their dad was on and off the screen.
For sure. And that's why I do a lot of my, my motivational videos on Instagram and stuff. See, a lot of what I do when a lot of like, people who don't know me won't understand, right? So they might see my stuff and be like, it's just another video, somebody trying to speak some knowledge and stuff. But what a lot of people don't understand, man, is this is me leaving behind records for my kids to know who I am. My son stays in New Jersey. Okay. Right? I haven't had the opportunity to really raise him the way that I would love to. I love my son. I support my son. But life took me a different route to come out here. And unfortunately, me and his mom's relationship is not the best. So it's hard for me to come here. I got to go out there very often, which I do. I don't mind. I'm actually going up there next week.
Nice.
But my thing is that, like, what you said too is like, everything I'm putting out there is so that one day my son can look back at and be like, this is who my dad was.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't that cheater. My dad wasn't that guy that was running around and, lost. He was at some point, but this is who he is now. This is who he's becoming, and he's allowed me to have the path that I'm walking on now, because everything that I'm doing is just so that my son can have a better life. It's so that I can have a better life. My family, my friends, my team, everybody can have a better life, So, I want to go back to what you were saying too, is when you started this, like just thinking about, getting it to where you wanted to, right? Just enjoy the journey. I'm not saying that you're not enjoying the journey, and really just continuing the flow naturally, you'll get to where you need to get, because this has some type of purpose for you regardless, right? You woke up and you decided to hit me up. You put a spark in me that you probably didn't even think you was going to do. I was like, shit, I gotta tighten up. I want to make sure I go on this podcast, and whatever we're going to do, I'm going to make sure that we provide value and be able to give back to whoever's watching, whoever's seeing, because I got my community base, you have yours, and you have yours. So my thing was, it's like, you're doing exactly what Joe Rogan is doing.
Yep.
Just on different scales.
Exactly.
It's just different scales, bro. Maybe your life isn't supposed to be in front of the fame right now, bro. You still need peace, quiet, and love with your wife.
Exactly.
And you're still bringing that value to the community. You're still allowing this state, this city, to be able to introduce all the creatives, all the artists, all the people that, are entrepreneurs, or even just step on this couch right here, bro. It's a powerful thing, just you being able to present them and allow them to express themselves. I guarantee you, everybody that has came and sat on this chair was excited or felt like, yes, I'm being heard, I'm being seen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very beautiful what you're doing, bro. People underestimate podcasts. Some of the greatest knowledge that I've gotten came from the podcast, The Diary of a CEO.
Oh, I love that podcast.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Yes. It came from Gary Vee's podcast, bro. A lot of the stuff that I've learned came from these great people that are doing podcasts. And the shit took time.
Oh, yeah.
We're not meant to just achieve success overnight.
Exactly.
How the hell you going to have millions and millions of dollars and it's hard to manage just a couple thousands that you got?
Very true.
You get what I'm saying? So everything has its divine timing. This was meant to be here today. My boy behind the camera was meant to be here today. We was all meant to be here today, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's all because you decided to follow a path in the journey, and your wife decided to have trust in you and make sure that, you guys are going down in a cohesive route. Even if you're bringing strangers into your home, you guys are still blocking any type of energy that has came in here. You get what I'm saying? You guys are still following that same path. So I love it, man. It's a beautiful thing. Just continue that journey, bro.
Yeah, man. I enjoy it. And like I said, I've said this on the pod a couple times as well. Is like we're building a masterpiece one paintbrush at a time, right? Wow. And I think the people, really, there is no such thing as overnight success in this world.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff that you don't see behind the scenes that took to get there, right? Yes. And it just takes time. You also have to master your craft. I think if you get everything too early, it's going to fall apart as time goes on. You'll get it at the time that you need it. And you brought up like Gary Vee, Diary of a CEO, awesome podcast. I listen to their clips or watch their clips all the time as well. Who are the people that you have studied to help kind of bring you to where you are today?
Oh, I love this question. So for me, it's Robert Kiyosaki, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas. I got Gary Vee, The Diary of a CEO. Just hearing him ask the right questions.
I love his questions.
To the right entrepreneurs. Man, I've seen almost all of them, like all his podcasts. A guy named Jim Rohn. These are some older folks now. A guy named Jim Rohn. And, you know, I could keep going. It's a list of people, man, that I genuinely has helped me dig in here. In here, man. In school, we dive into education and, you know, that basic education, but it's very little time that we have to dive into who we are. And me hearing the right questions on the right podcast or just gaining those insights, those principles, I said, I've been living my life so wrong. No plan, no strategies. I just been going at it with the strength, the physicality that I got, you know, like, and that's all I really knew. But once I like understood different principles, I said, yeah, this is how I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to live like this. I don't want to be like the guy who I once was. I don't want to be like the guy on the news getting locked up. I'm trying to be that dude on that podcast that's getting asked questions and inspiring millions of people. Because that's what I needed. All those videos, all those books that I've read, that's what led me to do what I'm doing now and was continuing to allow me to continue learning, you know, to keep learning, to keep finding myself, because it's a never-ending game.
Yeah.
This is something that we're going to have to practice a lifetime. Monks are not just declarated monks overnight, and some of them don't even really find that inner zen ever. It's a lifetime practice that you got to continue to do over and over and over again. It's the journey, right? Living in those ways, practicing those principles, doing that every single day and living it is what's going to allow you to feel like I had no regrets when I died.
Exactly, man.
My obituary is not going to say I wish I had more time doing this or I wish I would have done this instead. No. That boy did everything he wanted to do. That's what I wanted to say. Like, I did everything I wanted to do. You know, I lived the life that I told myself I was going to live. I've reached the, you know, opportunities that I wanted to make come to life for my son. You know, it's just all a journey, bro.
It is.
Enjoying it, you know, and really when you find these people, you know, you like I said earlier, we have somebody we look up to. So you find those people that you look up to and you study them. You want to be happy, you study happiness. You want to be successful, you got to study success. You want to be a psychiatrist, what you got to study? Psychiatry.
Exactly.
You know, be a podcast. You got to watch these great podcasts. You got to see the way they structure their videos. You got to see the way they're talking, even tone of voice. You get me? Like, all this stuff, you got to study it.
That's why I like the Diary of the CEO. He's British and he has that
amazing voice.
But he's a very calm, like, he's very calm. Like, when he asks his questions, and I've also seen things where, like, I like how he pauses.
Yes.
He'll be asking a question, he'll be like, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll like finish his thought. Yeah. And no, like you're saying, I study those as well. Like I've kind of set up the podcast in a couple different ways. Like obviously I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah, I love Joe Rogan.
Been a fan of his for a while because like kind of like how we set up ours where we have so many different kinds of topics and people that come on. Right. That's why I like his, because you never know who's going to be on there.
Yeah, it's I love his podcast with Joey Diaz.
Oh my God. Joey Diaz is the coolest dude ever.
So cool, bro.
But just having the different kinds of people on there, and something I'm very I guess I think about, and I want to make sure it comes across as well, as we have every kind of person here, right?
Right.
That's a big thing. You know, just going through and structuring questions. Like some people, I sit there, like I've gone on people's LinkedIn to get information about them, doing research, and you know, Shannon's also helped out with it as well. I did have a question for you, Shannon. So who's someone you look up to? I don't even think I know the answer to that question. Is there a celebrity, or is there maybe someone that you've listened to in the past that you're a big fan of or anything? I was interested whenever we were sitting here.
Me, myself, and I.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair enough.
One person I would say that I would look up to from your family is your mom.
Yes.
Your mom's probably one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life,
amazing.
Just hearing the story.
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, my dad died when I was 3 years old.
Right.
It's been my mom, and I've watched her go through a ton, being a mom of two girls, and then still trying to live her life, still working, providing. I don't know how she did it. but she is definitely one strong woman.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, it's just like behind every strong man is an even stronger woman.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's a very true thing.
In Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he has a whole section, and it's an older time, so he labels it under sex, right? But it's really just like the power of what a woman, you know, her love can do for you, and the type of drive that can actually bring out of us men when we have our women next to us, you know,
100%.
or even just just love in general, man. Love can take you to a whole nother level, bro. You know what I'm saying? And just having that drive of your wife, bro, it's gonna take you a long way, bro.
Oh no, I agree, man. Sure. Like Shan knows it. She's seen different levels of me come out when times are needed for it. Right. She's seen me work those 7 days a week, 12-hour days, coming home and falling asleep in my work uniform. She's taking my shoes off for me while I'm like knocked out on it. But no, it's just that motivation. Like I work so hard so I can try to help provide the life for her.
For sure.
Also vice versa. She works every day, works her ass off to help provide for me as well. And man, it's just you need that community around you, whether it's your wife, whether it's friends, your child, you know, it's just, we're social creatures, and I think that's a main thing that we're kind of moving away from. Yeah. But what's cool is seeing the younger generation kind of switching back from that. Like I'm seeing people, like kids are like, I don't want a phone. I want to just sit and go outside for 15 minutes. And like, it's a trend now on social media. And it's crazy because thinking about when we were young, right? I was kind of like you. I was outside all day, all day, from whether it was me being like 8 to 10 years old or being a teenager and running around with my friends, getting in trouble, doing all that. It's not like that anymore. No. And I think everybody's more worried about what's coming across that screen than what's right in front of your face, man.
For sure.
Because I have to take times where there's some days I'm just sitting there death scrolling on my phone for 4 hours. I'm like, I haven't said anything to my wife in 4. What the fuck am I doing? Like, you know, like I'll check in or I'll like mess with her at poker and she's like, what are you doing? You know, kind of thing. But I think the main thing that people are forgetting is that we are all humans. We only get one ride on this. We only get one single ride just on one. This. And the people who, I feel like that's the biggest thing that stops people is, what if?
Right.
What if this happens? What if no one listens? And then they just never start.
Right.
My favorite and my biggest piece of advice anytime someone asks me about whether it's podcasting or anything else that we're talking about, just do it, man.
Just fucking do it, bro.
Because you're going to learn along the way. You're going to meet people. You're going to meet a community that may help you. And just you're gonna figure it out. I think that was your camera.
Yeah, that was mine.
Okay, you're good. But yeah, man, it's just life is one of those things.
Right. So I want to say something. I've watched Steve Harvey, man.
Steve Harvey is a cool dude.
Listen, I've listened to him speak a lot, and one thing he said to me that really stuck with me, right? And it's kind of like what I said earlier about taking risk, is that at some point you're gonna have to jump.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take the jump, right? Or you're gonna get these opportunities that are asking for you to jump, right? So there's two things, right? So you can sit there and watch the people around you soar around, wings open, fly open, right? And you can sit there and say, damn, if I jump and my wings don't open, I'm fucked. Or you can sit there and say, I'm not going to jump and my wings still ain't going to open.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean?
I do.
At some point, you're going to have to jump. Because you're like, if they're not opening standing up here and they ain't going to open up there, at least I tried.
Yes.
But if it's one thing's for sure, man, is that your wings will open. No matter what, it's unfortunate. You're gonna have to hit bumps. You're gonna go through. You're gonna get bruises, scratches. You're gonna go through shit. But eventually, natural instinct, your body's gonna be like, try to fly. Your body's gonna try to catch itself, you know, and get up. And when you do, it's your job to manage that and continue to soar. You know what I'm saying? To know that those pains, those hurt, those were all lessons for you to be able to grow. But if you just sit there and you don't do it,
nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going to change. So you might as well just take the risk and try.
I agree.
Because even if you fail, it might open up another door for you that you're like, okay, maybe I wasn't good at this, but it led me to this, and now I'm good at that.
100%.
It's like tattooing, right?
Yeah.
I went from tattooing. I said, hey, I love tattooing. I want to make it when I first started, I said I want to be the best tattoo artist in the world. Went to becoming a tattoo artist. My thing changed to I want to have the most structured, safe place tattoo shop. And then it went to, I want to just help and build people. And that's where I'm at right now. And I know that this route is going to lead me somewhere else. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I know it's going to lead me to a bigger, better opportunity because I continue to follow my path and trust my journey and all the mistakes that I've made, all the lessons that I've learned. I continue to trust it. I went through those bruises, and now I feel like I'm kind of soaring up there with everybody else, you know? And it's just like, I'm not completely where I want to be, but I'm on that path and I'm living every single day of my life like I am, you know, and it's just what it is, bro.
I like it.
You know?
So I want to start talking more about your business, my man.
For sure.
So obviously, Jaguar Tattoo.
Yes, sir.
I've seen the work. It's beautiful work. Obviously, a lot of people, funny enough, people a lot of times, like my coworkers and stuff, they're like, you have tattoos? And like I showed up to a party one time after like we all got together, and I walk up there like,
It was a pool party.
yeah, pool party. So I'm in a tank top. I got my half sleeve. I got my chest done. And like I said, I'm not all the way sleeved up or anything, but you know, at work, I'm very professional.
For
yes,
sure,
sir. No, ma'am. All that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then I pull up, they're like, this dude, the Mr. Professional and all that. I'm like, I'm different outside of work. Don't worry about that. But so,
You're like,
yeah, right. Let's say the different mask. So obviously, when it comes to opening up a business, right? We've a lot of this that we've been talking about is about risk.
Right.
And what was something that you had to learn, or maybe a big thing that you weren't expecting to learn with opening a business, right? Because there's a lot of things that go into it, obviously, whether it's money, time, hiring people, all that kind of stuff, and it's all yours.
Right.
What was something you've learned that you didn't expect to come up at that time?
I would say the lessons, and the reason being, when I first opened up my shop, I had enough to get into the shop. On a couple of days before actually opening, I think, you know what it is, when I decided I wanted to open up my shop, something new was about to happen to me, right? So I had to let go of habits. I had to create new ones. And when I did that, I was so depressed because I didn't know exactly like what I was diving into, right? When I first opened up, actually one of my artists that work with me now, I had a girlfriend at the time, and he had called me literally days before opening up. He had called me. He said, "Hey, bro, I see your girl with another dude right now at this bar." And I'm like, what the fuck? So he FaceTimes me, shows me she was out there cheating, right? So I said, damn. So not only did that happen, I had to deal with the lessons of some family issues I was going through. I was losing friends, right? Some people weren't having faith in what I was doing. I was broke. I was broke as hell. I had, on my grand opening, I got this message and this call on the 11th. I want to say that whole first week I was just getting hit. Life was just trying to tell me not to do it. It was like, yo, listen, you about to suffer right now, right? But the two people that I was starting with, I was like, I got to do it. And I learned so many lessons from there. What I wasn't ready for is the feelings of what it is when you're breaking old habits, letting go of people who don't serve you anymore, and really identifying yourself, right? It's a depressing state because you're just not aware of this new person. Your body doesn't know who this person is. It's like an addict when he quits drugs, right? Your body's so used to that high, that feeling. When you quit, you go through withdrawals. You're like, you know, if you're lucky enough, you don't. You know what I'm saying? But some people go through withdrawals. 100%. Their bodies are shaky. They don't feel right. They got fevers. So the biggest lesson I had to learn was how to deal with all the emotion. The money? That's something that if you're doing the right thing, is going to come.
Yeah.
If you have the right strategy, it's going to come. Now, listen, I started Jaguar Tattoos. In the beginning, I didn't really have a strategy. My strategy came to be once I started getting more artists. I started feeling more. I started getting more emotion, more connection to my shop, right? But in the very beginning, I was so distracted by all the pains, all the shit that I was kind of finding out about, the people I was losing, that I didn't know how to deal with that, because at the time when I was living the old lifestyle that I was living, I was so used to the chaos, and you know what I'm saying, that it was kind of hard for me to recognize it. But once I started changing my route, I became aware of everything. I became aware of the people. I became aware of my money. I became aware of my family, of my traumas. I became aware of all that, and it can get depressing if you don't know how to handle it, right? It can make you quit. They say a business usually only lasts about 3 years until somebody quits or continues to thrive, right? I'm going on year 2.5. Well, I'm going on year 2 now. You know what I'm saying? We've been open for about, I want to say about 1.5 years to almost 2 years now.
Congrats.
And appreciate it. And it always just feels like we're just getting started. Like we getting started, we getting rolling. We still got that new energy, that new feel, that new vibe. But to all those that are diving into, you know, starting a new business, I would say just really learn how to manage all the lessons that you're about to learn, all the hardships you're going to go through, and really study yourself so that you can be able to handle those situations correctly. Because if you crash out, if you lose it all, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the money thing, save your money, be wise. Don't be spending out, eating all the time, buying double cheeseburgers, 2, 3, 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to stay on top of your stuff and, you know, really save your money and know. So one thing I learned about Robert Kiyosaki, he's one of the people that I mentioned earlier. He helped me put together a list that I've actually been helping my friends with too. I have a list where it's my expenses, and then I have a list with my income, and then I have a list with my assets, right?
Okay.
And then I also got another list with my liabilities. So liabilities being like my subscriptions, everything that I'm paying monthly, weekly, whatever it is, right? And then my expenses are the day-to-day things that I buy, that I waste, right? My first time ever writing down that list, my liability was like this. My expenses met past my liabilities.
Yep.
My income was 1. My asset was 0. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait, what the? I'm like,
How's
what?
the math ain't math?
Yeah, I'm like, the math. I'm like, how am I even affording this?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, well, you're living on a day-to-day basis, bro. That's how you're affording. And then you're living for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You spend you saving all your money, but as soon as that weekend come, your money's gone. And then you're like, damn, I gotta bust my butt to go get it again.
Yep.
So really, when it comes to the entrepreneur side, it's just really managing and keeping track of your expenses, your liabilities, your assets, your income. Once you can do that and you have it on paper or on a format, whatever works best for you, you're able to keep track of your progress, your goals, your artist goal. I mean, well, not necessarily your artist, whatever business you're in, you know, your employees' goals, and keeping track, man.
Yeah.
That journaling, tracking, all that is very important, bro. And having someone you can talk to.
Yeah. Huge thing.
You need somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? In the beginning, when I first started, I didn't have too many people. I had just left the closest people to me because I wanted to do something better for the ones that are coming in my life. I didn't have nobody to talk to, bro. I had to go through some hard nights, bro. Lonely nights, you know? So for me, like, having that structure, bro, and just really having the right people around you, the right intentions, you'll be fine.
It's huge. And this was I have another question for you. So this is about kind of your journey into tattooing, right? Me and Shannon were talking about this because I always find it crazy. How do you go from, I'm going to be a tattoo artist, right? I'm going to do this. Say you draw, you get the stencil all put together. How do you start from, whether it's tattooing yourself and then tattooing another person that just came in your door? I feel like that is such a big thing, right? Because say me, right? You give me a tattoo gun, it's not going to look anywhere near obviously what you've done for years and years.
Right.
So going from, maybe tattooing your leg to, all right, go into that next person. How do you get that confidence to say, you know what, I think my art's good enough to go on a person now, or I'm confident enough to do that?
Okay, so I'm not going to recommend the way I learned.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to recommend the way I learned because the person I've learned on, and many other people I've made mistakes on. My boy's sitting right there. I have a couple tattoos on him I'm not proud of.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying? But what I tell my apprentices is draw, fake skin, tattoo.
Okay,
that's the way to do it. If you are not. If you don't feel confident in say you hit me up for a tattoo, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, yo, I want this big, huge tiger piece on my back or a lion on my back. I need it done ASAP, right? I'm like, hey, I'm available this day. But if for the slightest reason, have like a little bit of unconfidence, I'm going to print it out to the size that it's going to be. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to tattoo it on fake skin. And then I'm going to be like, hey, bro, these are what it looks like, bro. Are you confident with me doing it on your skin? And you're going to be giving me an honest answer.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, hey, I fuck with it. Or you're going to be like, bro, I'm going to wait on that. You know what I'm saying? Let's wait till you get it to where it needs to be,
Understand.
So when it comes to my apprentices, I always tell them, tattoo it on fake skin. Make sure you draw it beforehand, and then because there's techniques. So when it comes to painting, when it comes to drawing, when it comes to tattooing, or even when it comes to like certain woodwork and things like that, or like even like metal grinding. Mm-hmm. You ever seen like I forget the dremeling?
Dremeling, yes.
So like dremeling and stuff. People dremel glass these days. All of that is tools and techniques, and a lot of them have the same ones, but just different tools.
Yeah,
a lot of techniques are the same. You got different tools and materials. when I did my drawing course the other day, I did a portrait and brew where I had students come in and we taught them how to draw portraits. And the way I was teaching them, I teach them in the aspect of becoming a tattoo artist, because some of the kids that are there, some of the people that come, they are aspiring tattoo artists. You know, they want to become tattoo artists, or they're looking to get an apprenticeship. This also allows me to see who's the next candidate for the next shop. You know what 100%. I'm saying? Because we're always growing. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna become smaller. We're gonna grow. So for me, like, I tell them, hey, your pencil tones are the same. The same pencil tones that I'm going to give you guys are going to be the same tones that I use for my gray wash set. Right, so I got my 20%, my 40%, my 60%, my 80%, and I got a true 100 black. And now they get their pencils that are the same thing, a 2H, a 4H, and just keep going up, so it matches the percentages. And then the techniques that I use for my shading when it comes to mags and stuff, it's still the same as drawing. You got to hatch, you got to cross hatch, sometimes you stipple, you can stipple with paper. And, that's what I try to tell people is that, like, when they come to these courses and things, like, it's a skill set that everybody can learn. Are you willing to? Are you willing to take the time, the practice, the patience to be able to continue to grow and thrive? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can do it. When you tell me earlier, like, no, I can't. Bro, you can.
I can. It just take the time.
It takes the time. Exactly. It's just something you don't want to do. And that's perfectly fine. It's like somebody else. I would never want to have somebody try to become a tattoo artist if their main journey was painting.
Understandable. Yep.
Doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Two different forms.
Yeah. So when it comes to, having that confidence from jumping to fake skin to tattooing, it really comes down to how well do you understand the tools that you're using and the tonalities that you're working with when it comes to tattooing. Are you confident enough to draw it? I learned how to draw after I learned how to tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
I've always been able to doodle and put together some good, like, Boondocks pieces or like Family Guy pieces.
Boondocks.
I was just always big into cartoons as a kid. Like, I was big on drawing, like, Stewie with the gun. And, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. So, like, for me, I've always kind of doodled. I never really took it too serious. But when I started tattooing, I started, digging for more resources, trying to get better, because, doing the same thing over and over again only gets you so far.
I understand.
Learning the same 3 needles only gets you so far. You have to start diving in. And one thing you got to do is look up to somebody, figure out what route do I want to go in. And I found somebody that I looked up to, and I said, hey, I'm going to follow their route. I love the way they post. I love the way they interact. I don't look up to them anymore, but it was somebody who helped me get guidance to the black and gray work that I do now. Right. So for me, like, I had to look up to that person, and I took what I learned in there and applied it into my craft.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just really making sure that you know what you're doing with the right tones, and, just understanding what you got as far as, like, your inks, your tattoo machines, and understanding the piece too. Like, when I stencil, some of my artists, they call me a grandpa, because I'm still in the old ways where I hand stencil all my shit.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, like, I do everything by hand. Like, okay. I don't really always dive into Procreate. Like, I will, just to show people what it'll look like on your skin. Mm-hmm. But once it comes out that machine, I'm stenciling with my hand. I'm working with my hand, because I'm not only, stenciling it, I'm building muscle memory. I'm studying the image. I'm understanding where the lighting is coming from. Mm-hmm. It gets deep.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's way more than just putting on Procreate, making it to where it just shows the lines, running it through a printer machine, and then looking at the reference and going from there. I mean, great. If you can do it like that and still accomplish a great piece, that's cool. But I have my way of doing things, and I don't mind doing the tattoo twice.
And that's your style, man.
Yeah, that's my style to go about,
I like it.
So, yeah.
And we're getting close to the end here, Shannon. I want to make sure you have your chance to ask your questions. Is there anything you got over there?
Well, one question I had was, do you have, like, a pet peeve, or is there something that people should not do while they're getting tattooed on?
Stop moving. Stop moving. I would say either stop moving or rushing the process.
Okay.
It takes time.
Are we there yet? So many times I'm like, is it the movie or something? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just asking, are we there? Are we almost done? Are we almost done? And I'm just like, do you want to be done? You know what I'm saying? Because it just gets to a point.
This is what it looks like currently.
Yeah, this is what it looks like right now, you know. But, just like drawing, just like tattooing, it takes time. you're not going to reach the most perfect session in one session. When it comes to portraits, I do them in two. I don't care who you are. I don't care how fast you need it done. We're doing it in 2 sessions because I need my true tones to set in. When you come back, I can see where I'm at, and I add contrast where I need to add contrast.
Like once you're healed up a little bit.
Once you're healed up, I can see the true tones because you get to a point in the tattoo session where, especially when you're working with black and grays, right? Your light tones start looking like your darkest one because the client's bleeding and stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, now I'm almost playing a guessing game at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I always say, man, just take your time, and when I do my portraits, come back another session. Let me see what it really looks like. Let me see the true tones because tattoos heal. You know what I'm saying? Tattoo ink spreads in the skin. I want to see what it really looks like. I don't want to do a portrait in one day and call it a day. No, you got to come back, man. We'll add some deeper tones in there because somewhere in that canvas, there's going to be something that needs to be done.
I understand.
A piece looks beautiful the more you can work on it. The more time, the more hours you can spend on it, it's going to look beautiful. And it goes the same with us in our hearts and our mind. The more time we can spend within ourselves and work on it, the more of a better outcome we can have.
I like it. I got 2 final questions for you. And we're gonna have to do a part 2 because, like I said, there's
so much.
I would love to come back. Yeah, I would love to come back for sure.
It's an open door, man. I'd be more than happy to have you come back. And I'm gonna have to go get a tattoo. I've been thinking about getting the Who Are You logo put on.
Check this out.
What's up?
So I've been working on something, right? It's not necessarily as a podcast. With me, I'm a people person. I love communicating with people as well, right? But I want to get an angle. Maybe you can be my first guest, bro. I would love to get an angle where on the film, right, on the YouTube video, wherever we post it up, I want a direct angle of the tattooing process and then another angle of us communicating.
That'd be sick. I'd be down 100%, bro.
Doing something like that. I would love for you to be the first one, bro.
Hell yeah, man. I'd be down. Like, I've been thinking about getting the Who Are You on me. Say getting that going. And I do like your work, man. Like looking at, like I saw a bunch of like tigers and I like the work and the black and white theme as well. I think that looks really good. Obviously, I was talking about your time and place tattoo that you did with the Eminem and everything. I thought that was sick.
That illusion piece, that was dope.
Yeah, man. No, like I said, I love the work and be honored to get tatted by you, man.
Me too, man. You're more than welcome.
We'd be 100% down. So, what was I lost my question for a second here. 1 second.
I'm sorry. This was a beautiful podcast.
I've enjoyed it, man. This has been amazing.
And be myself, really. I really appreciate y'all for real.
Oh, yeah, man. No, we absolutely love it as well. Listen, let's see here.
But that's what the whole podcast is about. Come on, be yourself. It's just a conversation. We're hanging out and we're getting to know you.
For sure.
So
no, that's definitely the whole point, man. It's just getting out there, doing your thing. And we love talking to people because I can feel the passion from you. Like it radiates from you as you're saying. And I love that, man. I think that's how it should be.
Right.
So I think I lost that question. It's fine either way.
Okay, man. I'm coming back.
Yeah, man. 100% want to have you come back. So I guess one of my last questions for you here is, have you ever had a situation, say, whether it was you at the shop or someone that had came into the shop and got a tattoo done, has there ever been a time where someone, maybe a client, didn't like the tattoo after it was done or felt like in their head that it was going to look a certain way and had to deal with that situation?
I want to say definitely in my earlier career, for sure. I've definitely had those situations where somebody's like, hey, I didn't really like the way this healed up. It's either they tell me they wanted me to fix it or they just kind of just left me alone. But I have had those situations. Like I said, in my beginning phases, I was not really going too well about practicing the piece before tattooing it. And that led me to a lot of mistakes. Luckily, in my shop, no.
Good. Yeah.
It hasn't happened because we're not going to allow that on any artist. Also, too, when my artists are tattooing, I'm always going around. And I don't, like, sometimes it might feel embarrassing for them at times, which I don't mean that at all, My artists actually appreciate it. Like, Kay, she's told me she's appreciated it sometimes where it's like today, I went up to her, right, and she was doing a tattoo, and her voltage was just a little bit low. And I said, hey, bump it up. Next thing you know, flying through that tattoo because it just allowed that needle to flow a lot easier.
Okay, that's what was going to be my question.
So she was working with color and her voltage was just slightly low, so it was kind of like going slower.
Oh, okay.
Right, so the needle was hitting a little bit slower. Her hand movements were just going a little bit slower. But I was able to tell her, hey, like, switch that up to a 6, bump it up, and next thing you know, boom, comes out, beautiful piece.
Interesting.
So we're able to catch each other.
Yeah.
See, when our tattoo shop, sometimes tattoo shops have rooms. and they separate the artists, right? We got an open floor.
I like that.
It's straight communication. If somebody's trying to get something tatted private, we take out the little Chinese walls, hang them up, put them up, and nobody can see them.
That's
you know what I'm saying? But I love the open ground because it keeps us tight. When we do our classes and our workshops together, keeps us all tight-knit community, man. And that's the most important thing, is being able to communicate with each other. I'm able to sit, I'm far in the back, right? So I can see everybody's energy, everybody's tone from the minute they walk in. I know who needs a little pep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know who needs maybe a little bit of motivation. I walked in today, and Kay was so concentrated. I went up to her on my sandwich. I said, hey, turn around, take a bite. She was like, you don't got to tell me twice. Like, took a bite right out of it because I just saw her so locked in, but I wanted a smile on her face.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it did. She took that bite and was like, damn, where that was from. Shout out, I believe it's 1982 Cuban Bistro.
Okay. I've driven by it, never stopped.
So good, man.
I like
Go
it.
get it. I had gotten a spinach wrap with arroz marron with ropa vieja in there, which is like almost like a pulled, I want to say braised meat.
Okay.
Beef. It's beef.
That sounds good.
And it also got sweet plantains in it.
Ooh, that does sound good.
The mix between that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That does sound
Beautiful. So shout out them too, man. I stopped by this.
I like it. I did remember my question for you.
Sure.
So obviously there are trends when it comes to tattoos, right? You'll see different times, like American traditional will be big for a little bit, and then stuff will kind of move away. Is there a more like trendy tattoo style that's kind of going on currently that you've noticed?
Them fine lines.
I was about to ask about that, because
Fine lines.
and I've heard fine lines are not the best because over time they can, like, the ink can blow up or it could like cause issues.
If they're not applied right.
Okay. So what do you mean, like the actual tattooing part?
Yes. A lot of times I see people use the wrong needle to attack a fine line. You got to use the right needle. You know what I'm saying? And also making sure you got the right depth in your needle and how far you're going into the skin. You know, the skin got 3 layers, right? We go into the second layer of skin. A lot of time people think I'm doing fine lines, so I got to peel off, I got to lay off the skin and make them lines very fine. But a couple months later, the tattoo's not even there.
It's gone. That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, and that comes with, doing different tones too, that I had to tell my artists. It's like, if you want a lighter tone, you don't pull away from the skin to make it lighter. You plug in the same consistency with the pressure of the needle into that skin, use a different tone.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when it comes to doing your fine lines. Get the right needle, the right size of the line that you want to get, and put the same pressure, you're going to get that fine line. Even though ink spreads in the long run, if you have the right needle, it's only going to spread so much.
Exactly.
The only reason why it really, really spreads is if you're going in too deep.
I understand.
You
Okay.
know? So you're either going too light or too deep. You got to hit that sweet spot.
Just right.
Gotta hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, because I was looking up some like more tattoo stuff, because obviously I have my experience of what I've gotten done, but it's only one guy who's tattooed me so far, and it looks like you'll be the second one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've seen so many different kinds. I have friends who have tattoos, and it's interesting to see what they like on their bodies. Because, like I said, no judgment on anybody. It's on your body. If you love it, fuck yeah, go for
by all
it.
means. I've tattooed some crazy shit.
I'm sure. So, since this is your first time on the podcast, I always end the podcast with this question. And like I said, it's been an amazing podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And, we're sitting here at nighttime, and I know you probably had a busy day already. So my final question is, do you feel successful? And if you do or do not, in what ways?
I think I'm very successful. I have a beautiful home. Everything that I define success as, I already have. Even if I wanted it at a higher scale, I sat and I asked myself this the other day. Actually, I looked around and I saw my dog, I saw my girl, I saw my house. I have a car. What else can I ask for? You know what I'm saying? Other than having my son right by my side, But for me, I think the life that I'm living is very successful because every single day I'm doing what I want to do with my life. And me living on my own terms is a definition of success that I've been dying to live for many years. I've been dying to reach that point where I don't have to wake up to somebody telling me to clock into work. I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. doing something for somebody else to live their dream. I wake up at 5 a.m. to write down something this morning that's going to allow me to continue to move with my purpose and intention. So I would say yes. I would think I'm very successful. I would think the only areas that I don't see myself successful in are things that I'm working on, and that's just really having my family together. That's about it.
I think that's a beautiful answer, man.
That's great.
And there's a reason why I ask that at the end of the podcast every time, because everybody answers it differently.
Right.
Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated, whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, all that kind of stuff, or some people are about their families. And
For sure.
And I always end that because I think it gives the audience a real snapshot of what you find important.
For sure.
Because there's a lot of people out there who are on completely different paths, and the way you're thinking is the way I think a lot.
For me, family is number one, man. You know, I grew up not very tight to my family. There was always a lot of lies and secrets going on in my family. And, you know, right now, my biggest sacrifice is not being to the one that I love the most. You know what I'm saying? So I know that this sacrifice, though, I'm doing everything that I need to do to become a better man and put my son in the situation he deserves to be in. So although I'm not there yet, I'm still very happy with the life that I'm living. My son is good. My son got clothes on his back. You know what I'm saying? I can go home and eat and sleep at whatever time I want to go at, even though I choose not to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I get rest here and there, you know, when I need it. But, you know, for me, my main goal, which I'm still working on, is to be able to, you know, have that space to where, like, you know, I can tell my son, hey, this is your crib. You know what I'm saying? You come stay there whenever you want. I'm allowed to go fly out to Jersey or whenever I need to go. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the main thing I'm working on, is just really being able to be, you know, get my son that generational, you know, freedom, financial freedom, you know, and that all comes with time. I don't like to focus on the money aspect because I know it's going to come in the long run, you know, but I know that I have to focus on what's important now. And right now, to me, what's really important is becoming the best father that I can be and the best provider that I can be for my family, and making sure that I can continue to awaken and enlighten people that are around me and helping them identify themselves.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. If this podcast doesn't make you want to run through a fucking wall, I don't know what to tell you on this one, man. Well, Chris, it has been an amazing podcast.
Bro, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you. But before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you on social media, where your shop is at, how they can get the best way to get a appointment set up with you, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. So you can find our shop either on Google, Jaguar Tattoos. We're located on 3390 Corey Road, zip code 32257, suite number 7. You can find us on Jaguar Tattoos _ on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and as far as my personal Instagram, you can find me at Tattoos by C-Rod on all platforms. And what was another question, you guys?
How can they book with you?
How can they book with you guys?
With me so easily. So either on our Jaguar website or on my personal website, we have square links. And on there, once you click on that square link, you'll be able to see different services with different price ranges. Once you click that, you'll be able to see dates that I have available. And from there, you hit book and you get on there.
Hell yeah.
The schedule. Everybody's always more than welcome to DM me too. I love interacting with people. I also want to mention I have a school platform.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of school before?
I don't think I have.
So,
SKOOL, right?
Yes, SKOOL. So it's a platform that allows me to build a community. So all the people that come to my workshop, I actually got artists in Jersey as well too, who are learning to become tattoo artists, and I have everybody communicate with me through there. And this gives me a platform for me to teach them anything from business to mindset to tattooing to learning how to draw. And I'm always posting like daily motivational stuff on there. And, you know, just really, that's the spot where people can come in and truly ask all the questions that they have about tattooing, business, mindset. And if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna go find them resources and get them for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I just want to be able to provide that community that has the resources and tools that I once needed to, you know. So it's all free. All of it's free. People can go on there, join, see all the videos and stuff. So if you want to follow it, go on our school community. It's called the Apex Circle. You can find it in the link in my bio too.
Hell yeah, man. Well, y'all, everything that he just mentioned right there will be linked in the description on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the spots, guys. Click the links down below on this episode, and you guys will be able to find everything out about him. Obviously, we're going to do another part 2, and hey, you guys might see me on his page here in the future as well.
Yes, sir.
So, like I said, my man, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me,
of
bro.
Of course, man.
Thank you so much, too.
Thank you for coming.
You guys have a beautiful home, and I'm really blessed and grateful that you guys brought me on here.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. So, y'all, before we get out here, like I said, go give him a follow, a like, a subscribe on everything. And if you guys go get a tattoo, post it up and tag us and them. I would love to see our listeners.
Listen, I want to say something. If you guys are coming from the Who Are You podcast, please mention it, okay? We're going to give you a nice little discount, and I'm going to hook my boy Connor up as well, too, man.
Hell yeah, y'all. Well, like I said, guys, follow, like, subscribe. And while you guys are in that following, subscribing mood, make sure you guys give us a follow. It's going to be at Who Are You Pod from everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots. You guys know where to find us at now. Also, make sure you are checking out the YouTube channel. We are very thankful for the people who are following us, leaving comments, liking the show. Helps us, keep getting that motivation to put these videos out there with our community support here. You guys will also be able to find DJ Bets. So it's going to be Who Are You podcast on YouTube. Click the playlist. You'll either find Who Are You or you'll find the DJ Bet Sports Betting Podcast. And then my final thing is, if you feel like you would be a good fit for the show, you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, restaurateur, an artist, an athlete, and you feel like you'd be a good fit for the show, either hit me up in my DMs or you guys can email me. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and maybe we'll have you guys on a future episode. But as I say every single week, y'all, thank you so much for checking us out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.